Please be seated. Shabbat Shalom. I want to share with you a couple of thoughts this Shabbat about a very momentous occasion in my life, which I had taken very lightly until a couple of days ago, when a friend of mine sent me an email saying, I know that you're being granted or conferred upon the Doctorate of Divinity by the Jewish Theological Seminary for your 25 years in the rabbinate, and I know that you're taking it lightly because we all take it lightly, but when the time comes, it's really going to sink in that it's really a tremendous moment in your life. So I didn't listen to him, right? And for months, I've been having this idea in my mind that I have to go to New York and go to this commencement at the seminary and march again with my class and get this incredible degree that says I've been a rabbi for at least 25 years. And honestly, the only talent that it takes is to be alive. I mean, if you have a beating heart and you show up, they give you the degree. But that is easier said than done. First of all, I have to tell you that this Torah portion, Vayetze, actually made me take this even more seriously. Because we're dealing with Jacob as he flees for his life, according to the traditional interpretation, because his brother's running after him and wants to kill him. And in that journey, Jacob experiences tremendous changes in his own life. And the first thing that we know from the opening of this Torah portion is that Jacob lays down in a piece of completely barren land, and he has this powerful dream. And I think that not only me, but all of us, when we take a look at our lives and we look back, we've all spent time and nights in a piece of barren land dreaming about the future. And the majority of us have a dream not unlike Jacob's dream. There is a ladder that extends up to heaven. Bemelachei Elohim, and the angels of God, Olim Beyordimbo, they go up and they go down to that ladder. And for many of us, that means different things in our life. When we lay down to dream and we see the angels that have touched us, the angels that brought us to the place where we are today, the angels that have carried us here, so that we can continue on our journey after we wake up from that barren land. And I think that today is one of those days, not only for Jacob, and not only for Jacob in the Torah, but also for me. I want to share with you an incredible story. I don't know if you know who Eric Yuan is. Eric Yuan is a Chinese man who's now an American citizen, who is the owner and developer of the Zoom platform. And when he first started, he tried to come to work for Microsoft in the United States, and his visa was denied 9 times. Eventually, he persevered, and he ended up working for Cisco, and he became an American citizen, and he founded Zoom. His dream was to be able to communicate people from all over without effort. And without his dream, we really wouldn't have survived the pandemic. So sometimes, things that we dream about in life really come to fruition and change the world. And we all hope that our dreams are the dreams that will change the world. We all have those dreams. So let me tell you a quick story. This is my 24th year as a rabbi of Temple Beth Shalom. Starting July, it'll be beginning my 25th year. And when I first came here, My first Shabbat, when I was being interviewed, first of all, we met some of the most unbelievable people on this earth. Wonderful, generous, inspiring. I still remember the day when Sandy Malin picked us up at the airport and we met her for the first time. I will never forget that day. Because in my mind, you see, I was bred and raised to be a rabbi in Mexico. I was never going to leave. I was going to stay there forever. And Las Vegas, well, let's see if we like it, but I don't think I'm coming. So from the beginning of the interview, I was feeling guilty because I was not coming. Here I am. We walked into the gym of the then Hebrew Academy, and there were many things that were distracting, trust me. But the thing that I will never forget was the ark. It was a little ark that was kind of like tilted, and there was a frisbee underneath one of its legs holding it up. And I remember turning to my wife and saying, I'm going to leave Bethel in Mexico for this? And Liz didn't answer. And that was one of the most powerful lessons in humility that I've learned in my entire life. That it doesn't matter what you think you have. If you dream, if you surround yourself with the angels that you see on that ladder, what you think you had will soon be nothing compared to what will you one day have and build with your own hands. And again, this is not unique. It happens to all of us. The fear of leaving the known is the hardest fear to overcome in life. Look, when I tell you I was bred to be this rabbi in Mexico, that synagogue still today has over 1,000 families. Nothing can touch it. But on the other hand, nothing has changed. For over 70 years, the only advancement they brought to Jewish life was men and women sitting together in a sanctuary. While conservative Judaism all over the world has evolved into this Judaism of inclusion and not Judaism of exclusion. And the things that I've learned here, in this very building that once was a barren land itself, cannot compare to the lessons that I learned growing up, learning the Judaism of my grandparents. Here, I've learned to live the Judaism of my grandchildren. Here, I've learned that if we not become entrepreneurial, that if we're not creative, we will die, we will surely die as a Jewish community. Because when you are on the Titanic, the iceberg will eventually surface, and you will eventually hit it. And when you finally hit it, it'll be too late for you to notice that you should have been doing everything completely different. Here, as a rabbi of this congregation, I have never been told, literally, not to do something as crazy as it seemed. I have been allowed to experiment. Sometimes it didn't go so well, to be honest. But many times, it went very well. And here we are today. And yes, this once was a barren land. And those angels that I talk about, many of whom are no longer here with us today, gave their time and their money and their inspiration and their dreams so that we could be in this sanctuary together this morning. It is very easily said, but it was so hard to accomplish. And not unlike Jacob, you wake up one morning and you say, this is the gateway to heaven. Zeshara Shamayim. I am standing in the embodiment of the dreams that I always dreamt. You know, I spent the last couple of weeks making fun of all my colleagues in my class. I was sending them memes, of their picture with the walker, we're all getting old. Because you can take me out of Mexico, but you cannot take the Mexican out of me. And this bullying nature is always within my blood. But honestly, today I can tell you that it's no joke, because what we do as rabbis is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the faint of heart. And I don't say it jokingly, right? The things that we deal with mostly are moments of promise like this one today, where we see someone like Jacob, who thrives in a religious school, thrives in a youth program, thrives in our congregation. Moments where we really excel as a people, where we see the promise of tomorrow materialize before our very own eyes, where we see the work that we all put in every day to make it happen come to fruition. But there are days, oh boy, there are days, when people come to you and tell you, Rabbi, why is the gefilte fish so small in the Kiddush? And you look at them like, do I look like a fisherman? Do I go and fish the gefilte fish? And that's not the answer. You can't answer that, right? Because you have to be nice. So you have to say, well, Mrs. Goldstein, I don't really know. Maybe we're using a shorter knife. I don't know, but I'll look into it for you. And then you go home and you go like, oh my God, the gefilte fish again. And we can laugh, but it's no joke. Look, when I first realized that this was my destiny, that I was meant to stay here, I really had a moment of, really? Las Vegas, this is it, forever? And I have to tell you that when I look at my life after these 24 years here, first of all, from my class in rabbinical school, I'm one of the only ones, not only that's still in the pulpit, but that's still in the same pulpit 20 years later. So we must be doing something right, in spite of gefilte fish. There are many more beautiful moments than gefilte fish moments. I hope that we together, because this is not only about me, continue to dream and touch one another and be there for one another. And when I say Judaism of inclusion, I 100% mean Judaism of inclusion. I mean that I've seen so many things happen in these first 26 years of my rabbinate. I've seen the North American Jewish community decimated by assimilation, over an 80% intermarriage rate. But I have also seen people who choose to be Jewish come into our community and make it great and make it beautiful and thrive and make us thrive again. And I have seen people that truly don't care about our tradition. And I have seen people that care so much that we will never let it go. But no, we won't practice a fiddler on the roof Judaism. We will practice the Judaism of today and tomorrow, not the Judaism of yesterday. I have to tell you, never did I dream that I was going to be in the midst of a congregation and a community that was so supportive of the state of Israel. And to me, that's extremely important, even though Israel is going through a little bit of a dark phase. These too shall pass. But we cannot disengage, because if we disengage, the dark phase will last forever. And that I have learned here. That when you want your dreams to come true, you don't withdraw. You engage. You fight. You dream longer. And you wake up refreshed to fight that fight again. And when I think of our children, You know, there were people who told me, and I always quote this, when I came first to Las Vegas, your children will grow up to be dealers and prostitutes and gamblers and showgirls. I just looked at them with an empty stare, right? Some of them wish that their children were my children today. And I say that with trepidation, and I don't take it lightly. Because dreaming together with you, not only me, most of us have seen our children do great things with their lives and come back to this community or to this world and make it great and make it move forward. Never did I dream when I was picked up at the airport by Sandy and Jean and Melanie that July 6th, I think it was, in 1998. Joshua was sitting on top of the luggage. He was barely 2 years old. And in July, Joshua will be moving back to Las Vegas to be a veterinarian in our community, to help heal and build a better world for all of us. And my daughter Danny won a Fulbright scholarship. Who could have dreamt about something like this? And Ari, she's finding her way. But she will find it. Oh, she will. Dear friends, these first years have been incredible. And it's not only because we've made it so together, but it's because we refuse to stop dreaming. You know, ironically, I'm thinking today, my first trip to Israel with the congregation, Cheryl, Jacob's mother, came with us. And a few months ago, when a dear friend of ours was passing, Jason, Jacob's father, was there with me and my family every hour of the day. This is not a coincidence. Of every family in this place, I can tell stories like this. All of you have been those angels going up and down the ladder. All of you have held me up, and hopefully, I've held you up at some point in your lives. And I hope that in the years to come, God grants us health, and God grants us wisdom and vision, but above all, the ability to continue to dream and to wake up and turn those dreams into reality. Shabbat Shalom. May I please ask us to rise? Page 184, the Chatzi Kaddish for Musaf. And when I first came, DJ was 16 years old. He's now 18.
I'm now 18.
Page 184.
Yitkadal v'kadash me Rabbi, be'amad yivrak nutze ve'amlik malchute,